this video while I prepare my food, garbanzos en español, chana masala. So, spiritual practice is not only to do sitting meditation or whatever, pranayama or chanting in a group. Spiritual practice is to live constantly in union with consciousness within. And this can become more easier when we repeat the name of God or of divine, the divine name. As all great teachers like Babaji, Ama, Swami Shivananda, and other great teachers have said already to us. So instead of doing only prepare my food, chana masala, garbanzos en español. So we can sing Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, every Om Namah Shivaya, one garbanzo. Om Namah Shivaya, we can sing, we can chant. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Hariya Kandi Shiva Om. Om Namah Shivaya, Shiva Om. Instead of thinking anything else about the world affairs and everything about our external life, what we'll do, what we'll experience, we can experience the divine bliss within us and peace and plenitude by just singing the name, one of the names of God, or a mantra like Om Namah Shivaya, and focus within. I give some attention, I put some attention to this, to do this. Okay, if I don't do it so well, I have to take out the layer, the external layer, I don't know how we say this in English, of garbanzos. This is life as well, and we eat this life in order to experience, to continue live and to experience life. So, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shiva Shiva Shiva. Of course, now I looked at the screen. While I'm alone, I concentrate to what I do. Om Namah Shiva, and I sing. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shiva 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 Om. And that's why I like to create new verses, lyrics. With Om Namah Shivaya, the name of my beloved Babaji, and mantras, bija mantras of Divine Mother. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Hariya Kandi Shiva Namah, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om. Remember that the mind can do only one thing at a time. So if we concentrate on the mantra and we are in touch with the silent space of consciousness within us, we enjoy the life and we do not permit the mind to create other thoughts which are mostly unuseful thoughts. Not to say not painful but miserable thoughts. We think that we can find happiness in the external world. That's why we think a lot about the world, and thus we forget ourselves. So we can do any job, any work, like clearing the layers, external layer of garbanzos. Garbanzos is chana masala. I want to prepare chana masala with tomato and onion and garbanzos. So instead of letting my mind think everything else, I sing Om Namah Shivaya joyfully also. Okay, joyfully is life, joyful is life, joy is life as well. But together with this joy, I experience peace. I am a deep happiness, from the Anandamaya Kosha, from the causal body, they say, I don't know. I feel a field of energy in me, subtle, that is vibrating in a very harmonious and beautiful wave frequency. And I enjoy this by just repeating Om Namah Shivaya Om, Om Namah Shivaya Om, Herya Kandi Shiva Shiva Om. Om Namah Shivaya Om, Shiva 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 Om, Herya Kandi Shiva Namah Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya Om, Herya Kandi Shiva Om, Herya Kandi Shiva Namah Om Namah Shivaya. Don't let the mind think about things, objects. It's so easy for the mind to delude us, create problems, and then we try to resolve the problems that are made mind problems. So simple mind, concentrated mind, introverted mind. Om Namah Shivaya Om, Shiva 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 Om. And by creating this harmonious vibration through mantras, repetition of mantras, the mind becomes quiet, clear, transparent, and peaceful. And in this quietness and peacefulness of mind, we enjoy the peace of God within us. What we call God is peace. It is not the peace of God. Peace itself is God. Bliss itself is God. Brahman or Atman or Tao or Allah. These are names. But the reality, it is the immediate, direct experience in us of peace and plenitude and freedom. Our sender, the center of our existence, is always free, no problems. Once Babaji said to Gora Devi is one of the greatest disciples and devotees of Babaji, and he met him around 1973, 1974. She was, I don't know, she is still alive. One of the greatest devotees, she was always with him for many years, with Babaji. And Babaji said to Gora Devi, if you focus like outwards, there are many problems. Inside, but inside, not in the mind. Inside, in the center, there is only freedom, peace. I don't remember exactly the words. There are no problems. Okay, there are psychological problems, of course, but in the center of our existence, there are no problems at all. There is only emptiness, empty space, but also peaceful and blissful and whole, full. There is fullness, as the mantra, the very well-known mantra says, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamandaya Purnamivavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. From the wholeness arises. The world arises from wholeness, and the whole remains whole. Does not lose its plenitude. So that means that principle that creates life is a whole. And from this wholeness arises the world and us. However, this wholeness remains as it is, changeless and immovable. And this is our essential nature. And we can experience this essential nature every moment without any external condition, by just focusing within. But there is a prerequisite to maintain our mind quiet. Quiet, transparent, clear, and steady. And we can achieve this by repeating a mantra like Om Namah Shivaya, like this. And chanting, okay, I chanting aloud now, but we can chant the mantra mentally, silently. It is the same, not exactly the same, but it works both ways. So, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shiva Shiva Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, Nama Om Heriya Kandi, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Heriya Kandi Shiva, Om Heriya Kandi Shiva, Nama Om Heriya Kandi. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shiva Shiva Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, Nama Om Heriya Kandi, Heriya Kandi Shiva, Om Heriya Kandi Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, Nama Om Heriya Kandi, Om Namah Shivaya, Om. And Babaji told us, we can do our job. We can give part of our attention to prepare my food for today, but this is not the most important thing for me. The most important thing is to remember being in conscious union, united with the inner silence, and maintain my mind and heart quiet in a high sattvic vibration. And I can do this by repeating constantly Om Namah Shivaya. So simple, but we don't understand this. We have difficulty. Our ego doesn't like. Our ego likes thinking and thinking about objects, what I will have, what I will do. It's so nice to have this. This is the timer. I have to see my food, because I prepare also, I don't know how they call them. I have in the, so I don't know. One moment. I have to see if the food is okay. So, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shiva Shiva Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, Nama Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. 1 minute. Okay, ready. One part of the food is ready already. I have a very rich meal today, lunch. I prepare special Indian food. Chana masala with paratha, potato paratha, with onion and perejil, I don't know perejil, and what else? There is one more, but I don't know the name in it's a vegetable, but I don't know how we call it. Anyway, and I continue to clear my garbanzos, chana, and continue singing and giving my experience, sharing my experience about Om Namah Shivaya, about repeating mantras and living moment to moment, concentrate in my heart. This is what is called detachment. I don't care what is happening in the world so much. Okay, I read the news, or I watch the news in the phone to have an idea what is happening, but this world is going crazy, so this world can never, at least in these times, can never be better. And Babaji told us that we approach a great destruction. And people do not understand. I mean, the vast majority of people, they do not understand. They are so busy with their personal problems. So they have no time to investigate themselves and transform, purify themselves. They have no time. They have time for many other things except practice meditation, Om Namah Shivaya, karma yoga, bhakti, worship, whatever. But they have a lot of time to do many other things. That's why this humanity, there is no help. There is no future, good future for this humanity. So, and Babaji told us to focus on Om Namah Shivaya and God, and will be protected. This is what Babaji said. But who has ears can listen and follow Babaji's instructions, suggestions, advices. I do. So, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shiva Shiva Shiva, Om Shiva Shiva Shiva, Nama Om Namah Shivaya, Herya Gandhi Shiva Om, Herya Gandhi Shiva Om, Om Namah Shivaya, Nama Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya Om, Om Namah Shivaya Om, Herya Gandhi Shiva, Nama Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya Om, Herya Gandhi Shiva Om, Om Namah Shivaya, Nama Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah. Of course, we need to establish, to set aside time for sitting practices for the morning and evening or night. There is a great variety of there is a variety of practices we can do, and this will help us to reconnect and deepen into silence, in the silence within, and purify our mind and develop the capacity of discernment, dispassion, detachment, pure awareness, mindfulness. Mindfulness. What does it mean? Mindfulness, to be attentive and live focus on the present moment without judging what is happening inside and outside, and observe objectively. Om Namah Shivaya, Chan Chal. I repeat that I prepare my food, chana masala, chana masala, but I share with you my experience about Om Namah Shivaya or repetition of mantras, and what all this practice have done to me. I mean, I can live most of the time in the present moment and connect it with the inner silence and the plenitude and the freedom I am, we are. Bole Baba Ki Jai. Always we have two options. One option is to focus in the external world, to the external world. The other option is to focus on our essence, divine essence, and experience freedom here and now. Every here and now we can experience peace and plenitude and beauty and freedom and love. Love is a state of being. It's not an emotion. Okay, there is also emotional love, no doubt. But this emotional love is only an expression of the divine consciousness, which is by nature love. It's a state of being. Freedom, love, plenitude. Bliss is a state of being, not doing. There is no dual experience. There is not me that I experience love. In reality, love experiences itself through and in us. Consciousness, which is what we are, experiences itself through and in us. We have to create free space because our mental emotional spaces are occupied by continuous thoughts, thinking, and expression of emotions. And most of them are of low vibrational frequency. They are like clouds in the sky that cover the sun. The sun is always shining in the sky. But the clouds, when there are clouds, prevent us from experiencing the sunlight. Similarly, the peace and plenitude and bliss and freedom are always shining in our center. But thoughts and emotions and impulses and passions and desires and imagination, their vibration is so dense. It's like dense clouds, and these clouds, psychological clouds, create a veil. It's like a veil that prevents us from experiencing this freedom and peace, which is always here in the background, we could say, of our experiences. It is the constant background. But the moment the mind becomes quiet, this silence comes in the foreground. It appears to be the background because we are so attached and focused on the forms. Because of this alone, we can experience the peace we are here and now. Because our mind, what does it mean, is attached to external experiences. It is interested. They want sensory, pleasant and pleasurable experience. Our mind finds meaning in the experience of forms. They are so delightful, so beautiful. We are so deluded by the external sensory mind, and we lose the peace eternal and bliss of God. This is the delusion that most of earthlings live in. All these forms are so interesting. I want to experience. I want now to do this, and then I want to do something else. I want to experience now this. And our mind is so occupied by these thoughts. What next? What is my next experience? Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya is a mantra. So if I say Om Namah Shivaya now, later I will say Om Namah Shivaya. What next? Om Namah Shivaya. What's now? Om Namah Shivaya. What's next? Om Namah Shivaya. What's next? Next? Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya maintains the mind and heart quiet and clear and focused, and then here and now, it depends. I'm a little bit tired. I have small problems of health, but it is possible the light, because I do this video from my cell phone, so I have not a studio. Possibly it is because of the light. It's not so enough. But I'm a little bit tired. Anyway. But anyway, health is important thing. But the most important thing is our mental, emotional state of consciousness and purity. This is the most important. One day we leave this body. We have to leave this body. So, what's the matter? If it is today or after some days or after some years? The problem is that we leave this world full of misery and full of tendencies. I have only one wish. The day I will leave this world, my mind to be free from all tendencies. Yes, it's easy to say, but it's not so easy to do this. Okay, there are many things have said by the teachers, but how many have realized God consciousness? How many of people on earth have dissolved their ego? Do you know? Very few. This is the reality. Reality is not so beautiful for our ego. We prefer imagination and fantasy than reality. It appears more comfortable. Imagination to ego, or to our ego, it appears more comfortable. But the point is, one thing is imagination, another one is reality. Babaji said, live in love, truth, and simplicity. Truth means reality, to perceive, to understand things as they are, not as our ego likes. And of course, highest truth is the peace within us, to realize our essential nature, which is what we call truth. But truth has also to do with life, meaning that we must see things as they are, not as our ego wants or likes. So the best way to remain constantly in the present moment and experience God consciousness is Om Namah Shivaya Om, Om Namah Shivaya Om, Shiva 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 Om Hariya Kandi, Om Namah Shivaya Om. What's the problem now? There is no problems except in our mind. Our mind is so well conditioned and programmed that cannot experience the sensory experiences with ease. It is always resisting somehow what is happening and attach itself to the experiences and lose connection with the inner peace and silence. So even though we can experience challenging sensory experiences or have pain, bodily pain, we can maintain this connection with the inner peace. So pain and peace go together. Babaji himself also, as far as I know, he experienced a lot of pain in the last year because of health problems. Babaji, Divine Incarnation, had health issues, and he suffered a lot. So what about us? But the point is that all other times we have not a problem. What do we do with our time and energy? We lose ourselves in non-stop thinking and meaningless thinking about transitory, meaningless thoughts, experiences, objects. We are always in trouble because we cannot manage our minds. This is the point. So the important thing is to manage our minds. What does it mean? To purify our minds, to elevate our vibrational frequency from rajas, from tamas, idleness, inertia, dullness, to rajas, passion, distraction, agitation, desire, and from rajas to sattva, purity, harmony, beauty, peace, dispassion, concentration. And with the sattva, we can experience the divine peace. This is our highest duty. We have also other duties. As I prepared my food. But how? Singing all the time Om Namah Shivaya, and all this vibration permeate this food, and this is a sacred food because it is prepared with love and a sattvic mental state and emotional as well. So all these vibrations have impregnated this food, and so when we eat this food, when we will eat this food, we will enjoy also sattvic vibration. This is the highest yoga also. Preparing and eating the food, repeating the mantras of God, of God's names, is the highest yoga. It is not only pranayama, not only doing pujas in the temples. This is the greatest puja, to prepare our food with love, repeating Om Namah Shivaya, and eating with love and gratitude, repeating Om Namah Shivaya, and being in deep connection with the peace within. We are grateful because we have to eat today. There are many places in the world that people dying. They are dying. Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Yemen, to mention only some of them. They die. They don't know if they will live the next moment. They don't know if they will have something to eat. And we are safe in our homes. So gratitude. I have to eat. It doesn't matter if I cannot eat to the best possible restaurant in my city, but I have to eat a very nice food. And I offer this food to the divine. What is the divine? In me and everywhere. There is not a God separate from us. We are an expression of God itself, and we are in essence God itself. This is non-dual philosophy, non-duality. Non-duality means I am, you are. We are all one and the same consciousness. And Babaji also told this, said this. We are one between each other, with each other and God. We are one. But we have to realize it, because only knowing that life is one, that we are one with God consciousness, is not enough. does not make any change, any difference. We have to realize this truth, and we can do this by dedicating our life to this endeavor. There is no other way. Because if you are so much interested about the world affairs of life, we have to lose our soul. We cannot at the same time experience both. And who say this is an ignorant. What I say so clear, it is the truth. We cannot experience at the same time the peace of God and the pleasures. We cannot. So we have to decide, to make a firm decision. What I really want most. I will live for a short time. Time is very fleeting. And we will leave this body very soon. So we have limited time. What we will do with this time? What we will do with our energy? Energy also in us. We say we have unlimited. No, we have not unlimited energy. That's why we are going to die. If the energy was for us, in general, the energy of the universe is enormous, possibly unlimited. I don't know. But the energy in us is limited. We are like a battery. So this energy someday will go away and we will die. So what we will do, how we will harness of this energy and this time we have. That means, more simply, what we will do moment to moment, do not make so big plans. Okay, we have some plan to organize our daily life and have some goals. In my case, for example, I have some water here. In my case, I prepare my books. I have already published my first book I call Liberation with the Power of Mantra. You can buy this from Amazon and also from my site. So I have this plan. I prepare now my second. I have already written 3 books in Greek. I will tell the titles in English. Living Consciously, the first book, Living Consciously Moment to Moment, or Moment by Moment. The second, The Name of God and Karma Yoga. And the third one, The Art of Meditation. The first was like this: the art of living consciously moment to moment. Not only living consciously, the art of living consciously moment to moment. The Name of God and Karma Yoga. And the third one, The Art of Meditation. And now I'm preparing I have already published the book in English, Liberation with the Power of Mantra. And now I'm preparing the first book in Spanish language, which is called the same title like the Greek one, The Art of Living Consciously Moment to Moment, but in Spanish, like El Arte de Vivir Conscientemente Momento a Momento, like this. And I prepared also my second book in English. I'm not sure about the title. Probably it will be something non-duality in practice or something like this, I'm not sure. So I have these goals in my life, in my external life. This is my goal of life. And beyond them is the inner goal, to reach this state of liberation. Liberation of all egoistic tendencies. It's so simple what I say. There is not confusing. There are not strange things in us to dissolve. It is greed, lasciviousness, gluttony, anger, all forms of anger, fear, all forms of fear, jealousy, pride, vanity, arrogance, etc. We have to see them, to notice them, how they function, how they manifest in us, to become aware of them and understand them and dissolve them using the power of mantra and prayer. Prayer and mantra are the most potent, powerful means. And this is my experience. I don't say nothing that is not my experience. Of course, we need to practice meditation, no doubt. But the most powerful means and inquiry, meditation and inquiry, to me, devotion, worship, devotional worship, meditation, and self-inquiry are the three most important practices. Devotion, worship, devotion. Devotion also means to do something with love and to fully give myself to it. But devotion is also worship. Depends how we use the words. So devotion, worship, in the form of worship, self-inquiry, and meditation are the most important practices, and repetition of mantra. But repetition of mantra goes with devotion. We can practice worship by repeating mantras and the names of God, and we can do also meditation, repeating a mantra, using a mantra. So the mantra, in my understanding and experience, is the center of our practice if we want to success in this endeavor of inner transformation and awakening and self or God realization. Of course, we can chant mantras, we can listen to mantras, we can repeat mentally the mantras, we can repeat the mantras with devotion, we can repeat the mantras in focusing on the meaning, we can repeat the mantras focusing on the sound, the vibrational frequency of mantras. There are different ways to practice the mantras. That's the same. Personally, I have practiced all of them, but I focus mostly in three. When, like now, I have this mood of bhakti, of devotion, I do the mantra, I sing the mantra like this. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Hariya Kandi Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, Shiva. But at the same time, I'm in a state of self-awareness, connected quite deeply with the inner silence. I enjoy, or better to say, there is enjoying by singing the mantra. When I sing the mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, but I don't lose connection with silence. So I do it in both ways, devotionally and jhana. Jhana yoga means this state of connection, meditative state or a meditative state. So I use the mantra to say the mantra devotionally. I enjoy the vibration that the mantra creates. Om Namah Shivaya Om. I enjoy the vibrations. Or as I said, there is enjoyment. Because the more we enter in the mantra, we lose ourselves. In the beginning, it is ourselves that we experience and to enjoy the mantra and the silence. But as we go in, and as the mind becomes quieter, more quiet and more quiet, then this I disappears little by little, loses it diminishes. So there is joyfulness, joy for no one. We lose ourselves. And I will finish this sharing with this. It is not Om Namah Shivaya. It is not that we are going to gain something. When we start our spiritual journey or inner journey, we think, we imagine that we are going to get something, to achieve something. And because the words are limited and they work in a dualist way, in duality, me and you, me and my experience, it is not so easy to communicate the inner experience, which is in reality non-dual. I mean, there is no subject-object experience. So in the beginning, we think that we are going to get something, that we as this me person, this individual entity, we are going to gain something. But in reality, we are going to lose ourselves, or at least what we think we are. So the peace and plenitude is experienced by no one. We lose ourselves at the end. That's why Babaji, as I said yesterday, I made another podcast about I'm no one and nothing. That's why Babaji said once, I'm no one and nothing. I'm just a mirror that reflects yourself, to see yourselves. Because Babaji had not an ego, egoic tendencies or whatever. So what we see on Babaji is our projections, or those people that were with Babaji all these 40 years of Babaji appearance on Earth, on planet Earth. They show to Babaji their own projections. Of course, we see our projections on all other people. But these people also have these projections. So if I see, for example, that the people is jealous, what I see is my jealousy on him or on her, in her. But this does not mean that this man or woman has no jealousy. But what we see, it is our jealousy. We live ourselves through others. We live our psychological selves through others. Because others also are mirrors, but they are not empty mirrors like Babaji. Babaji, it was and it is a pure incarnation of pure consciousness. So there are no clouds that distort this pure consciousness in Babaji as they are in us. So Babaji sometimes behave crazy. But what we see to Babaji is only ourselves, nothing more. We cannot see anything that is not something in us. And because we experience God consciousness in us, we can experience God consciousness outside us. In reality, this outside or external and internal does not exist. It is just an illusion. It's like our dreams. When we are asleep, we see a world. So, and one of the persons of the dream is us. And we think that we live in this world, dream world, and we experience many things. But all these things are in our mind. There is not an external world. What is happening during our dream, when we sleep, it is a projection of our mind. It is our mind in reality. Our mind becomes the dream, or part of the mind becomes the dream. Similarly, this world is the dream of consciousness, and everything that is happening in the objective physical reality, and what is happening in the psychological inner reality, all these are happening in consciousness. So, in relation to consciousness, both psychological and physical experiences are in the consciousness, happen in the consciousness. So what is the external? We say external what happens outside our bodies. And we call internal what happens in our bodies. But from the point of view of consciousness, our body, our psychological expressions, and the sensory experiences, expressions, objects happen in consciousness, in the unlimited this consciousness. And the more we realize that we are consciousness, we lose identification with the physical, mental, emotional me or ego. But liberation happens when this ego dissolves totally and forever. This is not, awakening is not self-realization in the fullest meaning of the word. Although we have realized, the moment of awakening, we have realized that we are consciousness. Wrong. That consciousness is what we are. It's different. Because we are consciousness means that we, as body, me, ego, this body, me, ego is consciousness. No. This consciousness is what we are. Do you understand this term better? The difference. This consciousness or that consciousness is what we are. This silence is what we are. We are not this body, me, entity or person. This person is only an expression, an instrument of consciousness. But we have to realize this. Otherwise, it's just a theory in our mind and intellect. What's the best way? The best way, it is what suits better to you. There is no best way. The best way, what is better for you. But, however, I suggest an integral approach of spiritual practice and life. Because in my understanding and experience, we are not only mind or not only body, not as an instrument. We are consciousness, but as an expression, we are not only body, we are not only energy, we are not only mind, emotions, intellect. We are all of them. And so to have an harmonious development, we must do something for all of them. To maintain a healthy body, to have the energy, vital energy, to have abundant vital energy and without blockages, to flow this energy, to create harmony in our mind and heart and transform our mind and heart. All these things we have to do. It's not just doing the one or the other. However, some aspirants are more focused on jnana yoga or meditation or whatever. I'm not with it. We are very complicated, we would say, being with various levels, and for me it is necessary to develop and transform all of them. Of course, the center is to live consciously moment to moment with the inner silence. And the goal is to realize that we are this inner silence, which is a presence of consciousness. It's not only silence. And to liberate our mind and heart totally from all egoic tendencies, desires and fears and whatever, programming, conditioning, habits, passions. Complete liberation of our psychological instrument from all conditioning, any kind, and full realization of our true nature. This is the goal of human life, at least for all those that have become mature enough to understand this. Because the majority is not so mature, and they are mostly focusing on the external reality and the enjoyment of sensory objects and experiences. So, I wish you peace, love, and light. Not in general. I wish you to connect here and now with this inner peace and plenitude and freedom, and live more and more from your essence, and experience less and less the miserable expressions of the egoic self, the pain, suffering, misery that the ego creates in us. To live less and less of these miseries, and to live more and more, moment by moment, the peace you are. Whatever may happen externally, although there may be, normally there will be some kind of reactions, mental, emotional reactions in us, we can, if it is our priority, if it is our most important thing, we can maintain connection with the inner peace. It is a different thing to lose ourselves in the experience of misery and suffering that the ego creates in the form of fear, insecurity. I'm hard, you have hurt my heart. It is easy to lose ourselves in it, but there is the possibility to maintain connection with the peace within and the freedom, and little by little to strengthen this capacity to remain in connection with the inner peace and freedom and plenitude, and little by little to diminish, to weaken all these tendencies that attract so forcefully our attention and mind, as if they were the most important thing in life. They appear in our mind as the only reality. I mean, thoughts, emotions, desires and passions, as the only reality, the most important thing in life. But believe me, it is just an illusion, created most of all. And this is something that do not emphasize Western teachers. It is the last fool. I speak always from my experience. It is the lastful aspect of desire, which is also the essential nature of the ego, the lower ego especially. It is this lastful aspect of desire. And this is the central cause of suffering. And this energy of lustful desire makes us attach and identify with the physical body and with the external forms. And we find the external forms or objects so wonderful, so beautiful, so interesting. We found bodies are so much interesting. They are not. Believe me. What makes the body beautiful is the inner light of consciousness. You can see a dead body. How nice is a dead body? What makes the body beautiful is the vital energy and consciousness. And also lust, the lustful desire. However, when the body dies, it loses its charmness. But we have to realize this. To remain our mind focused in the plenitude and ananda of the self, of consciousness, we have to realize that all external experience are limited and illusory. And because of our lustful desires appear so nice. We have to realize this. And also, we have to diminish their energy, because understanding is necessary, but is not enough. We have to diminish their power, the power of tendencies. Because this is a field of energy that works within us by nature as it is meant to function. Because this is the nature of lust, to want things, to experience lust. Anger is an energy field that wants to experience again and again anger. Doesn't know anything else. So if this energy field continues to exist in us, we'll do the same thing. Of course, by developing self-awareness, detachment and dispassion, and the sattvic state of mind, we can stop identifying with them, and little by little, with the power of mantra and prayer, we can diminish their energy. And little by little they become weaker and weaker and weaker, so there is free space that enables us to experience peace and plenitude. not only the peace of the mind, but the peace eternal of consciousness, which is beyond words and description. I say peace of consciousness, but it's just a word. It is indescribable. The words just are pointers that point towards something, an experience. They are not the reality itself. So peace is a word that gives us an idea that we can find real peace in us. And this peace is something different than the agitation and turbulence of the mind and heart. Just to have a map, an orientation. But this peace is beyond description. It's not a peace. What is, we don't know. It's something beyond description. But when we are there, silence. There is nothing to say. So I wish you peace, love, and light. I wish you to live every moment, each moment consciously, and maintain conscious connection with your deepest part of your existence, the essence, this freedom. You will find it. If you look for it, you will find it. It's not so difficult to find this inner silence. It is, most of all, it is how much we want this. That's why the most important thing is, in spiritual life, is what we call in Sanskrit mumukshutva. I'm not sure about the word, Sanskrit word, mumukshutva, like something like this. It is strong longing for truth, liberation, and the conscious union with the divine. Namaste.